Welcome back. If you are just joining us, it's Daybreak on Trust Television, and we will be delving straight into our conversation this morning. A very interesting and different kind of conversation, away from politics and talking money to talking ourselves this morning. The World Physical Therapy Day is observed every year on September 8th, incidentally today, and is celebrated to raise awareness about the critical role of physical therapists and chronic pain therapists therapy in keeping people healthy and fit. Physical therapists attempt to treat an injury or deformity, educate patients about healthy behaviors, and restore lost or damaged functionality. With a high rate of depression and other mental health diseases across the globe, we look at the significance of this day. And we have been joined in the studio by the head of Physiotherapy Department, State House Clinic, Abuja, Dr. Aldrich Bennett Ilochukwu. And I can tell you for sure that he looks very fit this morning. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
Join
Good
us
morning,
this
and thank
morning.
you for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
This is a celebration that has been observed for about 70 years now. Physiotherapy practice in Nigeria, every time we hear that, it looks like something you necessarily have to show up in the hospital to get, even though it does appear that even by cultural practices, we seem to have been carrying different forms of this. With every time we call it massage, maybe. I leave it at that. But considering the importance of today's occasion, and especially your concentration on arthritis, how relevant is this conversation, and how often, should we be having this kind of conversation other than on a special day like this?
Okay, today we're focusing on osteoarthritis, not just arthritis. There are many of them: gout, juvenile, septic, rheumatoid. All of them are arthritis, but today is osteoarthritis. It's different from others, and they affect millions of people worldwide. We have so many predisposing factors and things we need to tell people. If you do this, you may not end up with osteoarthritis. So prevention, they say, is better than cure.
Right.
So that's why the conversation should be ongoing, regular. Remember, physiotherapy is not all about treating only osteoarthritis or massage, like you say. We are not massage.
What's masseuse?
No, not at all, not at all. I didn't spend, now physiotherapy in Nigeria is 6 years.
Wow.
You do 6 years, do 1 year internship, 1 year youth service, 8 years to become a masseuse.
That's a lot to just be a masseuse.
So now you can get with doctor of
Is it a question of the masseuse stealing your own glory?
Well, we do soft tissue mobilization. That's what people mistake for massage.
Massage.
So maybe it looks similar, but they are worlds apart, so to speak.
Okay. Now, it looks like physiotherapy sometimes it has a connection with, mental health. There's a friend of mine that I know, she's always telling me she's having depression, she's going for physiotherapy, and I fail to understand why she's doing that. So could you just shine a light on if there's any link between mental health and the issue of physiotherapy?
There is a very big link. For one, there's a specialty of physiotherapy called mental health. So there are specialists in that area, physiotherapists. And also, when you exercise, your mood changes. Depression goes away. So instead of loading yourself with antidepressants, you can as well exercise so that the body can release its natural hormones that make you have a light mood, feel happier. So it's not all about drugs every time. So when she says she's coming to physiotherapy department or to see a physiotherapist because of her mental health, kudos to her. She's on the right path.
So when you talk about exercise, that becomes a tricky one for Nigerians because, I was in Lagos for 7 years. You have to wake up 4 o'clock and fight to get into the bus, fight to come down from the bus, trek some miles to get to the office. You do that all day. And as a journalist, it's even worse because you're an outdoor person. So you do that routine every time. And when at the initial stage, they say, go for exercise, I say, look, my routine in a day is sufficient exercise. And they tell you, no, there's a difference between stress and exercise. So what is that difference between stress as occasioned by our routine daily and what is an exercise really?
Okay, let me call that stress physical activity. That's a better word for it.
Okay.
Physical activity is anything you do that requires movement of the body, requires expenditure of energy. But when you talk about exercise, talk about movement of the body parts that is repetitive, expenditure of energy, but tied to a health benefit, a health goal. If I'm exercising to lose weight, there's a health benefit. If I'm exercising for my mental health, there's a health benefit.
Right.
If I'm exercising to keep fit. But if a dog is chasing me and I'm running for my life,
That's an activity.
so if I'm climbing the stairs, that's physical activity. So if there is a health benefit attached to physical activity, then you talk about exercise, repetitive body part movement and energy expenditure.
Okay, I think it now brings us to discussing how to prevent some of these things, as you mentioned in your opening remark. Is there something we should be doing? Are there things that we are not doing as part of our daily routine on the average as Nigerians that could then occasion some of these conditions? Because while I was looking them up, they were saying some of these conditions become manifest at age 40 or thereabout. What should we do prior to age 40 to sort of dodge those missiles when they come?
Let's look at the risk factors, things that predispose someone to osteoarthritis. Maybe it will help us get a better picture. You've mentioned age. It's not only 40. Let's look at 50. Let's raise the bar a little bit.
Okay.
Below 50, men are more active generally. So osteoarthritis, when it comes in men generally at the age of 50 below. Then above 50, women take over the baton. Because then menopause, childbearing, so many things, okay? So I've just discussed age, and everybody ages.
That's right.
That is one. Then second thing is, it can be genetical. It can run in the family. So if somebody has a father, a grandfather, a grandmother, brothers, uncles that are down with this, chances are you may. Remember the word is may. So genetic factor is on the table. Look at weight. Osteoarthritis affects all the joints, but most especially weight-bearing joints, like the bones of the neck, the bones of the back, the bones of the hip, the bones of the knee, the bones of the ankle. So the more the weight, the more the chances of having osteoarthritis because the joints are overburdened. Now we talk about anatomical structure. If somebody has a pronounced bow leg or K leg, now the weight transfer is not as it should. So the person may come down with osteoarthritis, but it increases the chances. So what can we do? We're going to exercise right.
Exercise, the emphasis on the word right.
Right. Exercise is medicine.
Right.
You see people, okay, for medication, you can take an overdose. You can take an underdose. You can take a wrong dose. Same with exercise. You can under-exercise. You can over-exercise. And you can do the wrong exercise. No two people can have the same exercise regimen 100%. That's why when you meet a physiotherapist, he looks at you, tell us an exercise that will fit your condition. So when we exercise right, osteoarthritis, the chances are lowered. Then when we keep down the weight, now, another thing that predisposes one to osteoarthritis, a previous joint injury. Any injury to the joint at any age will increase the person's chances of having osteoarthritis later in life. So when there's a previous joint injury, we advise, apart from seeing the medical doctors, the orthopedic, the consultants, try and see a physiotherapist so that we are sure that the motion, the range of motion of the joint and everything is okay. Now, exercise is not all about running, carrying weight. There are 4 basic groups of exercise types. You have the aerobic. The one you say you run and you get out of breath, it has its own
side effect.
It has its own use. Then the one, strength training, anaerobic, keep on lifting weight. You don't easily run out of breath, but you get tired, but just to train the muscles.
Right.
We have balancing exercises. The one that makes you not to fall easily, because osteoarthritis can make somebody fall easily because of pain or other things.
Right.
Then we have flexibility. Try to stretch. You see them do it in yoga, and anybody you see stretching is increasing the flexibility. So these 4 types. So we now try to give a patient or the client each one a measure depending on the person's needs. So, in a nutshell, to prevent osteoarthritis,
Right.
keep down the weight, exercise right, even eat right, and if you have it in the family, know that chances are, so you start early to do something so that it doesn't come on.
Interesting.
Okay, now, so would you say there's enough education out there in the public space for people to actually consult with physiotherapists?
Well, there is sufficient, but not enough. That's why every September 8th, globally, in the whole world, even in Nigeria, what I'm doing here, other people are doing in other states to sensitize, to create awareness.
Right.
Physiotherapy came to Nigeria in 1945. It would be Lagos. So 77 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. Many people still think of us as masseuse. So we create awareness at every opportunity. We go for outreach. People invite us. We go and give talks. A whole lot. Let me say, a lot of things have been done, but the room to do more is still there.
Okay.
Interesting conversation there with Dr. Adrich Bennett Ilochukwu. By the way, he took time to explain that his name, or rather he was named after his sage, a very wise person, and you can see clearly that his choice of profession was a very wise one. It's
Right, and he's not a masseuse.
And he's not a masseuse. Clearly. It's a pleasure to have you join us in the studio to provide more enlightenment around the issues of physiotherapy or physical therapy for easy pronunciation, and we wish you the best of the day with your other engagements for the day. Thank you.
Happy World Physical Therapy Day.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.